Alright, so one of the biggest questions that I get about the 2011 STI is how to keep it running during a tactical games event. Unlike other shooting competitions, we drag the magazines through sand, dust, dirt, up down hills, hips are digging through the dust, stuff like that. So they get quite a bit more debris in them than in a normal shooting competition. It doesn't take long, but here is how I keep my gun going. And these aren't just for 2011s. Whether you have a Glock, a SIG, anything, it's a really good idea to do this anyway. Alright, so first thing I do after I'm done is take all the bullets out, then figure out, you can kind of feel by pushing on it, especially if you haven't shot it, if you can feel grit and stuff down in there. Out of habit or ritual, whatever, whether I use the mag or not, during a battle I will empty it, strip it, clean it, put it back together, and get it going again. Why? Because you work really hard to get there, and the last thing you want is something simple that takes just a second to keep you back. So the first thing you do is, if you don't have a mag brush, get one. I don't know what this one's called. It's Arredondo. Look them up, Google, Amazon, you can find them. You first start by depressing that star right there. So push it down, and then you're gonna wanna keep your thumb over it when you slide the base pad forward. The reason why I keep your thumb over it is there is a retention deal down in there, and you wanna keep that from sliding away. Now this one hasn't been cleaned since burn it, so there's red dust and stuff down in it, and I don't even know that I use this mag. So anyway, pull the spring out, spring, follower, and this retains the base pad. You gotta make sure you put that thing back in right. Then I look down in it, make sure that there's no sticky debris down in there, and that the brush is gonna be able to get whatever it is out. Otherwise, you might, get a wet piece of t-shirt or something in there and put it down. Just brush it out, make sure you get it good. Look around the feed lips and make sure that carbon and stuff hasn't built up around them. Make sure there's nothing on it that's not supposed to be there. Then I separate the follower from the spring. When you do that, make sure you're paying attention to which way it goes so you can put it back together the right way. Clean up underneath it. Carbon fouling likes to get on both sides of these. So just take it, rub it up and down the brush. Sometimes get a t-shirt or something and put it up against it. Get all the sand off the springs. You'll see a lot of times people will be cleaning everything. They bypass the spring, but then they're just putting the sand back into the mag they just cleaned. It's also a good idea to keep track of how far the spring sticks up out of the mag when you're done cleaning it. So when you put it back, just make sure the spring clicks back in like it needs to, and that it's there. So you got a clean mag body, clean spring and follower, stick that back up in there. This spring right now is a little short. You want the spring to be sticking out a little bit more than that. This is a practice mag, so I don't really do much to this mag. But if it's a little short and you're in competition, like this one needs to be replaced, give it a little tug, stretch it out just a little bit. That isn't gonna stay like that for very long now. This is definitely a spring that needs to be replaced. Get your follower back and put it back in there, push it back in, then get your base pad and push the base pad back on. Make sure that that star comes back up all the way. If you put that base pad or the retention deal back up in there the wrong way, you run the risk of your base pad slipping off. That's what keeps your base pad from coming off halfway through. So that's basically it. When you get good at it, it only takes 20 or 30 seconds, and now you got the peace of mind knowing your mag's clean. Like I said, whether you're running Glock, SIG, anything, be sure to do this, especially if you're using reloads and the body of the brass kind of has that hourglass shape. It makes any problem worse. So keep that in mind. The way that the reloads are sized usually has a lot to do with that. The other thing you can do, typically during a competition, I won't ever clean my gun. Doesn't need it. You know, the inside of the gun stays relatively clean. But if it does, you can always lock it back. Look down in there, look on the feed ramp, make sure all that is looking pretty good. Then look down in the mag well, make sure that's clean. If you need to, you can get your mag brush, stick it down in there, clean it all. The benefits of this is that you'll also hit your feed ramp while you're doing it and clean it out. But other than that, that's how I keep the guns clean. Seems to work pretty good for me. Like I said, this isn't something that's just a 2011 deal. This is something I would definitely recommend to any gun that you're shooting.